Tonight, Matt Kenseth gets inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and as perhaps the biggest Matt Kenseth fan on the internet, it is my job, no, my civic duty to honor this moment by looking back at my personal top 10 Matt Kenseth moments of his entire career. The only problem is I didn't see some of Matt Kenseth's biggest moments. Like, I wasn't a racing fan when he won the Coke 600 as a rookie. I didn't even see Kenseth win his one and only Cup championship. I didn't become a fan until 2004, really 2005 was the first year I watched basically the entirety of the season. So my list may look a bit different than other Matt Kenseth fans out there or NASCAR writers, but this is a personal moment for me. I may be literally half Matt Kenseth's age, but I feel like a proud father today. So allow me to brag about my kid for the next, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Let's start with some honorable mentions. I know that 2013 Southern 500 win at Darlington meant a lot to Matt Kenseth. You could hear the emotion in his voice on the radio afterwards and Victory Lane afterwards. 2013 was a dream season all around. I know he came up just short of the championship, but won a lot of big races, including the Southern 500. Going back in time a bit, I mentioned Kenseth's 03 championship. His one and only win that season was at Las Vegas, so I feel like that at least deserves a mention. Matt Kenseth was criticized at the time for winning the championship, but only winning one race all year, and that Las Vegas race was the race. The next year, Kenseth won Rockingham, the final Cup Series race at Rockingham Speedway, at least for now. They're trying to renovate that place. We might see Rockingham on the schedule one day soon. You never know. North Wilkesboro is back, so anything's possible. Rainbow Road may be on the 2026 schedule at this rate. But a great finish, a dramatic finish, holding off an exciting young rookie charger in Casey Kane. That deserves a mention. 2012 Talladega. This one always has a special place in my heart. I don't know why. I just remember watching this race on TV really clearly, really vividly. The whole final overtime restart, of course, with the big, scary crash at the end. It was just a spectacle. It was Talladega Superspeedway at its finest. I was able to find actually that pink Talladega win diecast last year. It might be my new favorite car in my collection, just saying. And one more honorable mention that probably no one even thinks about anymore, but I still do. It keeps me up at night, haunts my dreams. 2018, Matt Kenseth comes back to Roush on a part-time schedule. The 6 car hadn't been any good for years. Kenseth didn't make it look a whole lot better until Indianapolis. The only crown jewel race Kenseth never crossed off his list. Matt Kenseth may have had the best car in 2018. Remember, he drove up through the field and actually won stage 2. Now, he was actually mad that he won stage 2. He wondered why didn't we pit beforehand so they could have better track position, all the stage games being played. But even after losing some track position, Kenseth was on a charge towards the front once again. Matt Kenseth was going to finish inside the top 2 or top 3 that day if his car didn't fall off the jack during his final green flag pit stop. Oh, it still haunts me. I'm not even kidding. I know he almost won the Brickyard 400 in 2020 driving the 42, but 2018, if he could have done it driving the 6 for Jack Roush in this day and age, oh, that would have just felt so good. Final crown jewel accomplished. Damn Jack. Not Jack Roush, the Jack that actually broke, that the car fell off. Can't stand it. But still, the fact that he wheeled that car to such a great run, I think deserves an honorable mention. Okay, now let's actually get to my top 10 moments of Matt Kenseth's career, coming from perhaps the biggest Matt Kenseth fan on the internet. Number 10, we got to go all the way back to 1998. Of course, I didn't see this race live, but I've gone back and watched the entire thing probably a couple of times now. It's, I think, archived on YouTube. But Matt Kenseth, filling in for Bill Elliott, finishes 6th at Dover. No prior Cup Series experience, gets behind the wheel of that 94 car and just ran in the top 5 almost all day long against veterans, champions at that point. Bill Elliott's best finish that year was 6th. Matt Kenseth was able to match that in his first ever Cup Series start in the same car. To me, that stands out as one of the, not the best, but one of the best debut performances in Cup Series history. That's just me. At number 9, and I know Matt Kenseth didn't win this race, but in 2007, Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson put on maybe the best show in Texas Motor Speedway history. This was late in the season. Johnson was in pursuit of his 2nd championship in a row at that point, but Matt Kenseth was out on older tires. He had taken 2, Johnson had taken 4 during the final cycle of pit stops. Johnson had closed in on Kenseth quickly and then kind of stalled out. Clearly he was trying to save his stuff, taking some calculated stabs at the 17, but these are just two great drivers who raced each other with a ton of class, a ton of respect, but still let it all on the line. Both drivers, both cars sliding, almost four-wheel slides off the corner at 180, 190 miles per hour. That's intense stuff. That's what NASCAR racing is supposed to be all about. I know Matt Kenseth didn't win this race, but this was at my home track, Texas Motor Speedway. And to see how well he held off the best in the business at the time on two tires, put on that kind of show, we just haven't seen that at Texas Motor Speedway. We hadn't seen it before, and I don't think we've ever seen it since. So this deserves a mention on my list. Oh, I love this one. Number 8, let's go all the way back to 1998 once again, but the Busch Series now. Matt Kenseth driving for Reiser Enterprise, Robbie Reiser's small family-owned team, bumps Tony Stewart in a Joe Gibbs racing car out of the way in the final corner to win his first career NASCAR race. Back when Matt Kenseth's museum in Cambridge, Wisconsin was still open, I remember visiting and they had this car on display, and just the story behind that whole race was cool. I mean, Matt Kenseth and Robbie Reiser went on to have a really good season that year, but this was just the second race of the season. Technically, that car was unsponsored. I mean, you can see there's no logo on the hood. Lycos, they were just trying to attract Lycos to sign a longer term deal. They didn't have a sponsor for the rest of the season. They needed that win, and they were going up against Tony Stewart, who at that point, everyone knew him as an open wheel champion. He's driving a Joe Gibbs racing car. Everyone expects Tony Stewart to win that matchup, right? But Matt Kenseth just got him a little loose, a slight little love tap right there. Picked up the win, his first career win. That's just an awesome moment looking back. I wasn't a big Tony Stewart fan growing up either, so maybe that just makes it a bit sweeter. At number 7, I remember this race vividly. It wasn't all that long ago. Well, actually no, 2013. That was a decade ago. Mind blown. Where does the time go? But in 2013, Matt Kenseth made the jump over to Joe Gibbs Racing, taking over a 20 car that really hadn't been relevant since, ironically, Tony Stewart had left it a few years earlier. And in just his third start for JGR, Matt Kenseth wins at Las Vegas, once again holding off Casey Kane in the closing laps. But the icing on the cake, no pun intended, was that this was also Matt's birthday. He became only the third driver to win a NASCAR Cup race on their birthday, joining, I believe, Kyle Busch and Cale Yarborough. That's pretty great company. At number 6, let's talk about the 2005 Bristol Night Race. This is one of the earliest races I vividly remember watching. I remember it so well because Matt Kenseth absolutely obliterated the field. Remember, this was when he was trying to charge back into the chase, into the top 10 in points. They'd had a slow start to the year, but towards the end of the summer started to pick things up. Smack dab in the middle of their hot streak, Matt Kenseth led 415 out of 500 laps and won the Bristol Night Race. Just a couple weeks later, he did manage to sneak into the top 10, and that was the year that all five Roush cars made the 10-car chase. Matt Kenseth managed to be a part of that, largely thanks to this dominant win at Bristol Motor Speedway. I already knew I loved Bristol as a track. It's just, there's nothing else quite like it, but Matt Kenseth dominating there, and he actually won the night race the next year as well. Solidified my love for Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a great track, and my favorite driver was usually pretty good there, so what's not to love? At number 5, let's go back 1 year earlier to 2004 when Matt Kenseth won the All-Star race, won the $1 million prize, and he did so in dramatic fashion. These cars used to look so good under the lights. Look at Matt Kenseth loosening up Ryan Newman. I don't think there was any contact there. Newman had come off the bottom a tiny bit already. Kenseth just sort of finished the job, took what was his at that point. Just a textbook aggressive pass back in those days. Matt Kenseth won the All-Star race in 2004. Coming off his championship season in 2003, the hype train was rolling with a full head of steam. Just a great finish, an awesome move. At number 4, this is another finish that's pretty recent, but may not be thought of as one of Matt Kenseth's greatest moments. But I want to talk about the spring Dover race in 2016, when Matt Kenseth, nearing the end of his career, went to war against two of NASCAR's hottest young rising stars, battling both Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson in the closing laps to get the win. Especially right here, Larson and Kenseth, they're about wrecked, but just a couple of great drivers. Throw Chase Elliott in there as well. All great drivers. You had experience versus youth and excitement. Elliott and Larson at that point were both chasing their first ever wins. Kenseth, you never know which win could be your last. Everyone hanging it all out on the line. Some of the best racing at Dover in Dover's history. And I just remember as a fan watching this, and I liked Kyle Larson, I liked Chase Elliott, but it was really cool to see the veteran wasn't getting talked about quite as much at this point. It felt really rewarding to see Matt Kenseth show the world that he still got it. He is still one of the best on the planet. He proved it at Dover that day in 2016. Now let's go way back for number 3. We got to talk about that Coca-Cola 600. Winning one of the sport's biggest, it is the sport's longest race as a rookie. That's a heck of an accomplishment. This win was part of his Rookie of the Year winning season. There's not much else to say. I mean, it wasn't a particularly thrilling finish. You got former champion Bobby Labonte kind of hunting you down, but you were able to keep him at arm's length. But just winning the Coke 600, the spectacle that this event was, it still is. This event still attracts a big crowd by today's standards, but it's not that big of a crowd. The bright lights on a big stage, winning that race as a rookie has to be a mention on this list, even though it's not one I saw happen live. I wasn't a fan yet at that point, but looking back, just a heck of an accomplishment. So number 3, these last 2 hold special places deep in my heart. At number 2, the 2012 Daytona 500. This whole race was a fever dream. It rained all Sunday, so the race got postponed to Monday. I think they were going to restart at like 11 a.m. or noon. I think I was in 8th grade at the time. I begged my parents. I was like, Mom, Dad, I've been getting good grades. There's no tests tomorrow. Can I please, just this once, stay home from school healthy? And they let me, so kudos to them. But if you remember, it then rained all Monday into the Monday afternoon, early Monday evening. The 2012 Daytona 500 did not actually start until Monday night and did not end until the early hours of Tuesday morning because of the infamous Juan Pablo Montoya Jetfire crash. For 48 hours straight, I was keeping tabs on all the latest news, the latest updates, because I knew, like I said, I watched the clash, or what was it called, the shootout, the week before. I saw Matt Kenseth win his dual race. I could tell the Roush car, specifically Kenseth with Jimmy Fennig, they were fast at the super speedways. They were going to be dominant at the plate tracks that year. Sure enough, they were. 1 Daytona, 1 Talladega, 3rd at the other 2. I mean, what kind of average finish is that? Like an average finish of 2 across the entire season of super speedways? That's ridiculous. That's crazy numbers. So I could tell he was going to be great. I didn't want to miss a second of this race, and sure enough, Matt Kenseth, with some help from his good teammate Greg Biffle, won the 2012 Daytona 500. Now, Kenseth won the Daytona 500 in 2009, but it's not on my list because it was a rain-shortened race. He only led 1 lap and just kind of got lucky that the checkered flag flew when it did. So winning this one that went the distance, help from his teammate, all that great stuff, just felt so good, so refreshing. So 2012 Daytona 500 got to be high on my list. And at number 1, this wasn't the biggest race. This wasn't the largest purse. This wasn't the most crucial race. This wasn't for a championship. This wasn't even for a spot in the championship or the playoffs. But the number 1 moment I think I will always remember as a Matt Kenseth fan was his final win, 2017 Phoenix. I think just a week earlier, right before the Texas race, Matt Kenseth finally confirmed what we'd all kind of expected for a few months at least, that he was not going to be back at Joe Gibbs Racing and that he did not have a plan to race in 2018. A week before Phoenix, it looked as though Matt Kenseth was not going to race beyond the 2017 season. And I was at that Texas race the week before, where Kenseth in this weird blue Xfinity Olympics car led laps late. I thought he might win that race, ended up finishing 4th, I believe. But going into Phoenix, I could tell there was still a fire there. Matt Kenseth was capable of winning races. At that point, he was already eliminated from the playoffs, didn't really have anything larger to race for besides the trophy. Phoenix was the site of such a devastating moment for us Matt Kenseth fans a year earlier when he wrecked on the final restart to lose out on a championship 4 transfer spot. I'm also not over that. But Matt Kenseth was able to put a lot of us fans at ease by winning in 2017 in just his second to last start with Joe Gibbs Racing. Another clean move, another clean pass for the lead with 9-10 laps to go. What a moment, what a celebration. The other drivers coming to congratulate him. The crowd cheering as loud as I could ever remember them cheering for a Matt Kenseth win. I was watching that race by myself in my college apartment at the time, and I was just in tears. I'll admit it. I don't cry or tear up very often. That's probably the most tears I've shed at any or as a result of any sporting event. Again, this wasn't for a championship, not even a spot in the championship, not even a playoff berth. Kenseth wasn't about to get another ride as a result of this win, but still brought a lot of emotions out, and that's something I will always remember. What a moment. Number 1 on my list, probably forever and always as far as Matt Kenseth's NASCAR career is concerned. I've been a Matt Kenseth fan for 18, 19 years now. It's been a crazy journey. It's so weird that some guy from Wisconsin, what he does in a race car, how that could mean so much to just me, some dude from Texas, some kid for the longest time. It's weird. It's weird how this works, how we become fans of our favorite athletes, our favorite actors, our favorite singers, you name it. When they get honored or recognized for their greatness, it makes us feel like a part of the team. Like, I don't know, somehow in some weird way, we had something to do with it, even though we didn't. Obviously, I had nothing to do with Matt Kenseth's success as a race car driver, but I still feel like I was a part of the journey, and that is rewarding in and itself. So I'm looking forward to watching tonight's NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Congratulations to all the inductees, Herschel McGriff, Kirk Chelmerdine as well, both very well deserving, but like I said, I'd like to consider myself the internet's biggest Matt Kenseth fan. That's probably not actually true, but I wanted to highlight Matt Kenseth and many of his great career accomplishments in this video here today. Thank you so much for watching, whether you're a Kenseth fan or not. Hopefully this video will help you have a newfound respect for Matt Kenseth. I feel like too many fans just remember him as the guy that junked Joey Logano in 2015. And yeah, that was a memorable moment, but Matt Kenseth was so much more than that one incident. Whether you feel it was justified or not, Matt Kenseth was a Hall of Famer before, and he is now a Hall of Famer after for things he did beyond Martinsville 2015. But thanks for watching, y'all. That's gonna do it for this special episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel and you love NASCAR content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. It helps me out a ton. I will see you again very, very soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and congratulations once again to Herschel McGriff, Kirk Chelmerdine, and Matt Kenseth for making it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame.